Okay, so we're live at NEXT Summit Valletta, and if it sounds like I've kind of lost my voice a little bit, it's because we're having a lot of fun at NEXT Summit Valletta. We're here at the Gaming Malta Media Zone booth with Ivan, the CEO of Gaming Malta. Welcome, Ivan.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here on the second day, right?
Yes.
It's always, we had a fantastic day yesterday. It was packed with thought leadership. We had actually our HR Connect trek, which was a very engaging and interactive whole day. We were talking about wellness and HR and how it combines it all together. And we had breathing exercises from, Neil Adrews, the famous long distance swimmer, also record breaking. So it's been really, lots of activities around here.
Yeah, and if you're on day 2, it means that you've survived day 1 as well. So we're here, we're alive.
We thrive on the second day also.
We thrive, we really do. The fun doesn't stop. Now, I want to get into some important questions, Ivan. So the first one that I have is that Malta has been called the home of iGaming excellence. What does that actually mean in 2026, beyond this licensing jurisdiction?
Look, essentially, it's our constant North Star, right? It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. It's what gives us that extra step and extra pace in that we thrive on ensuring we're not just a center, we're not a hub, but we're a home. We're a home because we want operators, talent, the ecosystem to feel comfortable on the island, and for us, for them to be the island a launch pad for their success, essentially. And we can't take that for granted. We need to continue working on that every single day. One word which we like, and in fact I'll be giving a presentation today on the leadership stage. One word which I like is called relentless. Why? Because that's when you're not happy or satisfied with what you've built, but you want to continue essentially, continuing to improve and being relentless about it, a relentless energy in challenging also, what you have.
I think being relentless probably comes from a deep passion as well for what you're doing and for the industry. Is that a fair thing to say?
Very much so. We're very passionate about the industry. Look, there's no other jurisdiction which gives so much support to the industry, right? So we look at iGaming, video game development, esports, and immersive tech. Maybe we'll find some time to talk about that later on also in the interview, where there are no ifs and no buts, right? So the industry accounts for nearly 7% of our gross value added, 14,000 employees. Only this week we inaugurated lovely offices of a major B2B supplier, Light and Wonder, where they chose Malta, for their continued European expansion, essentially. And this is where it all comes down to. People come here, they relocate to the island and find a home for them to be successful. Because ultimately, if they're successful, we are successful. And that's why we need to continue being relentless in this.
I like the word that you used as well, which is home. And for me, being a visitor to the island, the Maltese hospitality is something that I think you should be very proud of, because the Maltese people are so welcoming, so kind, and actually has a great sense of humor as well.
Yes, I mean, it's the Mediterranean lifestyle, right? But we translate that into policy also. So there's no other jurisdiction, once again, where I chair the iGaming Council on behalf of government, together with the Minister of the Economy. And around that table, we've got the main stakeholders of the industry, essentially. And it gives them an opportunity to bridge between the operator and the policymaker, and to bring them all always closer together, and understanding their needs also. And once again, no other jurisdiction does this.
Yeah.
And we want to continue being ahead of the game in this.
Well, you mentioned policy, and I'd love to learn a little bit more actually about Gaming Malta Manifesto and the Malta Vision 2050. So can you tell me a little bit more about that for someone
Yeah.
who isn't fully familiar with it?
Look, they both tie up into each other, right? So the Vision 2050 is the North Star where the country wants to be by 2050 with a very important milestone or bus stop for 2035. Whereby what we're saying is that the North Star on being a safe and resilient nation and still being entrepreneurial also, but with a good quality of life. We're looking at quality rather than quantity, even when it comes to talent. And on the iGaming side, it's very clear. So this isn't a fluffy dream in the clouds. There are KPIs attached to that, right? So we want to consolidate the iGaming sector and accelerate video game development, esports, and immersive tech. Why? Because the convergence of technology, where it all comes under one umbrella, essentially. Today we're talking about predictive markets. You know, a year ago at NEXT, we weren't talking about predictive markets. Today we're talking about predictive markets. You know, you had a full house last Monday at the predictive market track. You know, and we want to be ahead of that game also. Yeah. So Vision 20 gives us that roadmap, gives us that North Star with key KPIs, with a public dashboard, so the public can actually know where we are and what we're achieving. And that's very, I would say, that's policy at its core. It's very important. Now, linking up to that, we launched our Gaming Malta Manifesto. So Gaming Malta Manifesto is a list of pledges by Gaming Malta towards the industry, right? So our pledges towards education, our pledges towards our fiscal structures, our pledges towards responsible gaming, and basically it's these promises which we term as pledges into the manifesto, essentially, which really embodies what we want to continue to achieve for the industry. And like that, the industry also knows where they stand with us. Yeah. Right? There are no surprises.
Transparent.
Very, very transparent.
You listed esports, video games, different verticals. Now, how is that different, or what are the similarities even of that compared to iGaming? Does it require a different playbook, or is it something where you can take some of the good learnings that you've had from iGaming and the success from that and plant them into those different verticals?
The rationale is that we've already built a successful iGaming ecosystem, and back in 2019 we started on a strategy to look at the broader church of gaming. So that's why it's video game development, esports, and immersive tech. Talking about that though, nonetheless, they're two different animals, right? So two different ecosystems, different talent requirements also. What the common factor is that it's entertainment. People are the companies are providing entertainment. One is online gaming and the other is video game development. And since then we've made many inroads. So as Gaming Malta, we actually run an incubator space to house startups and wanting to accelerate in the space. We have companies from the UK, we have companies from Israel, Germany, Malta, Roblox agencies, immersive tech organizations, and quite frankly, on the cutting edge of technology. Yeah. And it proves to be a soft landing space for the industry, on the island, and for them, to settle down here. So that's on the video gaming. We are a Unity Center of Excellence. So we have currently trained 400 students to be Unity certified. We have excellent relations with Unity. We've started the Unreal Engine educational pathways. Yeah. Why? Still, because the talent is key. We can have all the best tech initiatives in the world, but if we fail on the talent front, it's an issue. Yeah. Right? And we need to continue upskilling. We've launched actually AIM, Academy of Interactive Media also, where we get guru-led master classes for the video gaming industry, for people who want to upskill, people working in the industry and they want to upskill already. So a plethora of initiatives, but you see, all working towards one goal. Esports was low-hanging fruit for us, right? We're a tourist destination. We're a historical destination, which is important for esports teams because they build a lot of content on the island. And we recently launched through our multi-year partnership with Blast, one of the top tournament organizers and production companies in esports, their own 1,000 square meter cutting edge facility on the island. So we're a broadcasting facility, and we get tier one tournaments here based in Malta. Some of the top teams come here and compete with some very big numbers, with some very big numbers on broadcasting, etc. It's running into millions, essentially. And we've also announced that we're getting more esports teams to have their training centers on the island. So it's recently also inaugurated the new training center for a Brazilian esports team, Imperial Esports. We have Furia, which is another Brazilian esports team. And all this from a little speck in the Med.
Yeah.
Right? But to them, it's also a stage for them to travel to Europe for other different tournaments. So we're a centralized destination for them. And this is when I say relentless, I can continue what we're doing.
Yeah.
But seeing how esports is growing, and then you start to seeing how it all joins up, right? So iGaming companies look into esports. Esports look into iGaming companies. And there are common factors there. So that's our current story at the moment.
Yeah, relentlessly building that ecosystem for.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually been nominated at the Esports Leaders Honors Awards, which are upcoming in Cologne, for our Blast and Gaming Malta partnership as one of the most significant developments in esports globally. And we're there with Saudi, we're there with India. Yeah. And it's a sense of pride to see that the world is looking at us.
Yeah, small but mighty country.
Yeah, small
that's
but
for sure.
mighty. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
small
that.
but mighty. You mentioned talent as well. What would you say in Malta, what does it take to really create that working talent ecosystem?
Okay. The question there is, or rather the answer there is that it never stops. As I said, we've got 14,000 people already working in the industry here, and different nationalities, different countries, and we need to continue to attract and nurture talent here. So let's split up them into two. Nurturing talent, we've got iGaming diploma courses at MCAS, our vocational college, and specifically training people for the industry. And there are other also private academies in iGaming on the island, to get people trained for the industry. And then we work with key stakeholders like Identita, whereby our visa agency, I would say, and our residency agency, whereby they facilitate also entry into the country, and we work very closely with them on the policy making, to essentially continue to make the processes more efficient, with a special focus on the industry itself.
Yeah. You keep yourself very busy, don't you, Ivan?
I try to.
Yeah, I can tell.
Hey, mate, this is
also very well knowledgeable of, because you've talked about esports, you've talked about video games, and you went into a lot of depth around Roblox, Unreal Engine, all these things that require a level of depth and a level of knowledge. I have two questions. One, where does that passion come from to keep learning, and what keeps you moving forward?
Look, I think from a jurisdiction point of view, the island has no natural resources, right? So it's our hard work, it's our ethic, and it's our entrepreneurial skills which makes this island a success. And together working closely with government, and there's cross-political support for the industry also, working closely with government to continue moving in that direction. when it comes to continuous learning, Stu, what I'm terrified of, if we're happy with what we have. We can never be happy with what we have. And also today, when it comes, it's lifelong education. You know, I went back to university to get my master's in entrepreneurship.
Wow.
So because you just can't stop. Gone are the days when you graduate from university and you say you're done.
Yeah.
You're sorted.
Yeah.
You know, you
True.
need to continue learning new skills today. We're all learning AI also.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And the class comes also from enjoying what you're doing. You know, you don't do it, you know, for the money. You don't do it for that. There is, and especially in our case, it's a sense of public service. We are public servants essentially, and we are there to serve, and that gives you a sense of a sense of being, a sense of responsibility, also. But yeah, it gives us that extra, you know, pace in our step.
That's for sure. My final question, since we're here at the Media Zone booth, I'm curious from your
You've been doing
perspective.
a great job here. Well done. It's been a real pleasure supporting you.
Well, without the support, this wouldn't exist, and it honestly does really give us a great space for us to do these kind of interviews and to shed light on things that might not have that level of light being shone on them. And that's actually part of my question, is that being here, we are press, you know, and there are other industry press that report on iGaming. My question to you is there something that the industry press gets wrong or oversimplifies that you would like to address?
The press, we speak to them a lot and they run a lot of stories on Malta. I mean, they've come, they've experienced, and they see the success and what we do, right? Maybe people don't appreciate the level of, and shouldn't be underestimated, the level of government support which the industry gets. There's nearly a concierge service, to a public concierge service to the industry. And once again, no other jurisdiction gives it that amount of and there's a genuine desire to see the industry successful. And when we talk about success and about, you know, talking about the ecosystem, when we say we are the Silicon Valley of iGaming, you know, it's been quite a story. And sometimes we also get bullied by other European jurisdictions. And but we stand our ground, and the industry and the jurisdiction is known for sticking out its neck for the industry. One thing which I would like to see the industry continue growing is in reputation management. So actually today I'll be talking also about respect, you know, this campaign which we have, where we feel the industry deserves more respect from external stakeholders. Yes, we're the gambling industry, but we're entertainment. But we're responsible gaming. We're entertainment, we're speed, we're product, we're enhanced due diligence. We're consistent in our growth. And the press should listen more and understand more what the industry is all about. Because there are a lot of misconceptions.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, you mentioned a few things there that the government gives relentless support as well for the industry, and we can attest to that at NEXT, the support that we receive. And we're very grateful for that, and you know, we'll keep, you know, taking inspiration from you as well, Ivan, in terms of your relentlessness for the industry.
I hope our energy is infectious, no?
Yeah, the success of it. No, we're very, very grateful, and thank you also for taking the time to interview.
Pleasure, you know, being here, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, Ivan.
Cheers.